Hey everyone, welcome back to Hinterland. So, yeah, today we're going to take a little break from the field work and all that fun stuff that we've been doing, and I'm going to show you some changes I've made to the map and kind of a direction I wanted to go anyways with this map was not just make it one big farming um, map, but also add some life to it, add some, I don't know, things to make it a little bit more of just a wilderness area. We'll see how that goes. Big ideas, but we'll see how far I get. Not a map I typically play, these open world, so to speak, or create your own world maps, but I'm going to be giving it a go, a little bit more here and there. Of course, the first change is you see here is I've added an entrance for our farm. You can see that our little city back there, our little town, our little village back there. But when you drive in, you're kind of welcome to our farm. You can see we've got a welcome to the farm private road in English and, of course, one in German. And I've added a little bit of fencing with some mood lighting. Looks nice in the dark. I'm going to show you that at the end. And a couple of lights here on the overhead poles so that they kind of shine down on our welcome signs. I love it how it's welcome to the farm, private road. I didn't want to be, it's kind of a mixed message. Well, maybe not a mixed message, but kind of funny. Another thing I did here was I added a little place for maybe some picnicking, little picnic table. I think that's actually an Omatana thing. And I think I added another picnic table here, little barbecue grill. Kind of nice. So you kind of have the sun here if you want to be more in the sun, a little more shade over there if you want. Just small little things. We'll be adding more as we go. But then the bigger thing that I've added, the bigger stuff that I've added, is this big old open open cow pasture. It holds 200 cows. Plan is to do, I think, I'm not really sure, beef cattle or dairy cattle. Not really sure which way I want to go with it yet. We might just stick with all dairy is probably what we're going to do. But yeah, put down this open pasture cow field. And then from Omatana, something pretty new she came out with are these sheep pens. I've got two of them here. This one here, I believe, is the sheep milk pen. And this one is the sheep wool pen. So I've added those two right here by the lake. I thought it was a nice area to put these. But we've got some work to do today to make these kind of fit in a little bit better, seem a little bit more natural, kind of spruce them up a little bit, in other words. Let's take a quick peek here at kind of the bigger picture. You can kind of see how they're laid out right here. And kind of see where we're at, our entrance, etc. Now, some other plans I have is to possibly in this area put down a storage shed and maybe another TMR mixer over here because it might be kind of handy. I'm thinking maybe another bale storage shed. Omatana came out with her own storage sheds, if I remember correctly. Large shed, let's see, I think they're... I always have a hard time finding these things. Are they in silos? I think they might be in silos. Here they are. So she came out with these storage sheds, and I think they use the giant storage shed. I want to say script or add-on or whatever you want to call it. But these are a couple that she came out with, and I think we might add one of those eventually. Maybe add a little bit of a, like I said, maybe even a shed to put some or tractors in, things like that. Another thing we might put down here too, I mentioned another TMR station, and I think these are the ones, this is the one that we have down by the farm. And Tin Man, I think, was telling me, I think this is the one he was mentioning to me. Something like this. I think this would look nice down here. Maybe we'll add another TMR mixer like this down in this area here somewhere. But for now, what we're going to do is do a little sprucing up, like I said. Now, I'll tell you this, Giants, in my opinion, on some of these things, a little expensive, a little pricey. So I hope it doesn't offend any of you that money-wise, I'm probably going to be, depending on how much we spend, probably going to be adding a little bit more back to the bank account. I don't mind spending the money for these sheep and cow pasture deals, but it gets a little expensive putting down grass and different things. So we'll just see how that goes. But so for plans, the first thing I want to do is I kind of like just to have all of this be meadow grass, so it just blends in. Um, there's no obvious difference in the grass. Of course, this is all, personal preference. None of this is right or wrong. It's just how you think things, how you think things should look. Let me bump that size up a little bit so we can get this taken care of. And we're going to get, this is where things tend to get a little expensive, is when you're doing stuff like this, and bushes and things, trees, stuff like that. But we're going to make this a little bit, we'll go back over some of this and maybe change a little bit of this up. I did a lot of flattening of the ground around here. And I'm not particularly skilled with the Giants tools. The smoothing tool's not so bad, but when you start getting into the leveling and stuff like that, I need to work with those more so I can get more accustomed to them, because I'm not, if I'm being honest. However, I will tell you this. When I was doing the leveling and things, especially around here, there was some pretty severe drop-offs. One thing I noticed that happens is you start getting the floating parts of the deal. Like, I don't know how to put this, but like right here, I should have showed you before, but you can kind of see how much of that cement bottom is sticking out of the ground. It's not floating maybe quite yet, but when I was going through these and initially doing my flattening and smoothing, boy, I had these things probably a foot off the ground. This one wasn't so bad, but I did a lot of smoothing on this area right here because it was pretty nasty. This drop off right here was pretty nasty, and it just didn't look right. It looked like the ground caved in almost. It was that bad, and I think it depends on the mod sometimes, and of course, what you're putting it on. I know that I've seen other people do some stuff like this, and I think it's always recommended to try and flatten or smooth the ground out as much as you can before you place down some of these buildings and different things. But that's looking pretty good for now. As you can see, that cost us, well, almost $60,000 just putting that metal grass in. So yeah, no, that's not, no. That's a little pricey for my budget. So we're gonna add most of that back. Now the next thing I kind of want to do is just to get these things kind of blended in a little bit better. Where am I? Here we go. I want to get over to this road here. And one thing we're gonna do here is go into landscape. Let's go into painting. And let's find, we'll dirt this up first just to see. I kind of like I wish it would default to the circle, just my preference. I like using the circle more than the square. But we're going to paint all this in because we're going to kind of have a deal where we're going to be able to get in here and kind of, bring water, bring feed and stuff to the cows. Now, I tend to be of the opinion that the less perfect to some extent, the better, because things are not particularly perfect in nature. So I tend to not square things off and do things like that. Again, it's all, personal preference here and there. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit wet by that water pen, especially if I'm delivering water. Maybe a little moisture here. We won't go too overboard. Some animal mud, I think, would be nice. Here and there, I think around their feeding area, we probably have some animal mud. Of course, we always have animal mud. Here and there. And you can always change it. No big deal. Probably not going to be putting up any fencing yet. I might put up some fencing right around here. Kind of a fencing this way. I think would look kind of cool. Not sure if I want to do that now or what, but I'm kind of thinking, maybe something like this and then maybe stringing it out, bringing it out this way a ways. We'll see. I might use the same fencing that I used over in our entrance as well, but we might do some of that fencing just to add a little bit of a look to it. And then as far as the cows go, it's going to be kind of open range, but I kind of wanted to add, maybe, add a little bit of variety of some different flowers just to kind of give it a little, just to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Cows are probably going to like that a little bit. Not a lot of things, these kind of things you don't really see that much from the ground, so I'm not that worried about it. But where are my trees? I kind of wanted to do a couple, 2, 3 trees. I don't know what is on this map as far as trees go. I don't want to be too far off of what kind of looks natural for this map. I like these serviceberry trees. And maybe a little dogwood tree over here. We can always put a tree over there. Maybe even well, I don't want to probably get too close to there yet. We could always add different kind of trees over there. What do we have here? A large oak? Do we have any oak trees on this map? I don't even know if we have any oak trees on this map. I don't know if I want a large oak in there. I like birch trees. I'm going to put a birch tree in the sheep pen. And not a willow, maybe a pine. I like these pine trees. I know this map definitely, I believe, has pine trees. Maybe a smaller pine tree here and there. Plants, we can always do some bushes. Always helps to kind of have maybe a little bit of some bushes around the area here just to break it up a little bit. Who knows why they would be where they are. It's kind of one of those things where it's just kind of a wild things that just have grown, you know. We can always add some more. I like giving the sheep some wow. Yeah, that maple. I love maple trees, but that's pretty big. They have a smaller maple, old spruce, young American elm, maple. Oh, that's a big boy there, isn't it? Holy cow. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a medium spruce, small spruce. Kind of want something to maybe give them a little bit more shade, though. Do we have anything for a little more shade for the little sheepies? That does provide good shade. Maybe we've got enough trees in here already as it is. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll add a little bit of that for them. So we'll have a cow. This is our cow area here. We can just drive in. We could do our pick up our milk, do our feed, do our water. Like I said, I think I'm going to put some fences up here. Trees always add a lot to it, don't they? In fact, I think we're going to have to add yet another tree in the cow pen here somewhere. Maybe a large oak would be good for our cows. And we'll just put that willow there just to add a little something, something. I don't know, is that a willow, I think? Yeah, some nice color. Let's take a look at our sheep pen area too here. And let's see if we need to, what we need to do here to kind of spruce it up and make it look a little bit more natural. Let's get into the dirt again. And let's get rid of all of this. All of this grass that's sitting here. Go through that maybe a little bit, get down in here. And then I'm kind of thinking forest ground. What do we have here? Wet sand. Some more puddles. Yeah, for sure. We're going to need puddles. Some wetness here where the sheep, I'll blame it on the sheep. They've gotten a little sloppy. That'll be pretty good. We have some animal mud. We'll definitely have some animal mud that we have to deal with. I wonder if I need to change out. Let's try and make this a little bit bigger. Maybe that'll help. There we go. I think some animal mud around here makes more sense. And then inside here, it would make probably a little more sense to have some animal mud. Let's take a look at how that looks here on the ground level. Yeah, that's not too bad. You can still see how much I probably have some more leveling to do. I mean, it's not horrible, but it would be nice to kind of smooth that out a smidge. As they say in the industry, smooth it out a smidge. Let's see if we can clean or get some of this. I think I might add some dirt back to this area too, just so it doesn't look like one big animal mud pit here. But I don't really want the grass. Just give it a little more natural look. Where's our dirt at? Here's our dirt. Like I said, it's one of those things where you just kind of, at least for me, as long as it's random and it doesn't look really super, you know, planned, I'm pretty good with it. Let's see here if we can Can I get dirt in here? I don't really want so much grass up in this area here. I kind of feel like there wouldn't be a whole lot of grass growing, you know what I'm saying, underneath this barn. I don't feel like this would, in the shade and stuff. Of course, they make grass that grows in the shade, but I just don't think there would be as much grass in here. I don't know, what's your opinion on that? I feel like it makes more sense to that would be kind of a dirtier area where the sheep are always kind of tromping around, you know, doing what sheep do. And let's scooch over to this side. And we'll switch back to dirt. And get this dirtied out. I mean, you could even have, if you wanted, I mean, I guess you could have like little splotches of grass and things like that in here. That would probably be fine too. Probably look all right. But I'm going more for the where it's been worn out look. Animal mud. Yes, animal mud for sure. Get up in here. Get some animal mud in here. And we'll do some big old puddles. Let's take a look at what we've got going on here so far. I mean, we want our sheep to be clean, but we know they're not always the cleanest in the world. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Might polish it up a little bit here and there, but that looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, here you can kind of see how close we're getting. In fact, that may even be a little off the ground a little bit there even. That's why I kind of hit it a little bit with the meadow grass. I think helps kind of hide some of that. Oh, and I just realized too that Ornata has included, if I can find them, would it be in plants? Some small branches. Am I turned around here? I am turned around. Okay. I mean, we can even do, kind of makes sense maybe to have some branches littered around this area where we got the trees here. Don't need to do too much over there. That's fine. What else does she have here? A couple larger branches. I think we're okay there. Plants, I think if we, what is this right here? Maiden fern. What is maiden fern? Oh. Okay. I kind of like that. I don't know how much that makes sense. Like, I don't know how that really grows, but it looks different. I actually kind of like that. How does that look on the ground? Oh, it's just kind of, yeah. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. It's kind of, yeah. All right. All right. What other things did she sneak in here? We'll take some of these ferns out. They look a little thick. What are these, mushrooms? Yeah. I like that. Now I'm just playing. You know, now I feel like Bob Ross. You take a just take your 2-inch brush and just go in and place a little fern right there. Of course, you can place your little fern wherever you want to. This is your little fern. You do with it what you like. Bob Ross was a stud. You know that dude partied, right? I mean, you totally know when you watch Bob Ross on PBS, or if you've ever watched any of his shows, they've got quite a few of them even on YouTube and stuff. That dude was high 95% of the time. Had to be. Watch him with his little squirrel friends. It's hilarious. The guy's stoned out of his mind, tripping balls on baby squirrels. He was amazing. He really was amazing, though. There was some documentary I saw on him. I don't know what it was, but they were talking. Some people were talking some smack about him, you know, like how there was kind of a bit of a rivalry between him and this other couple because they had a similar deal where they were selling art classes on I was going to say online, but it wasn't online back then, but clearly they were jealous of Bob Ross. No doubt about that, right? Well, what else can we do here? I actually kind of feel. Oh, I know. I wanted to leave these open a little bit, and because I was going to say we could put a tree or some bushes down here, but I think with Omatana, when she gave us these things, excuse me, you can get this deal, which is a wool distributor. We might end up buying a wool distributor and a milk distributor. I don't know if we really need either one of them at this point, but we might end up getting those, so we'll just wait and kind of see how that goes. But I kind of feel like we're in pretty good shape here. The only other thing maybe we can try and do is just smooth this out a little bit. It's kind of a pretty good ledge down there. Let me do this. Let me save our game. And this is why I did some of it offline, because I did a lot of doing something, saving, especially when I was placing these because of the issues I was having with this uneven ground. And you can see how uneven this is clearly, but this doesn't really impact us. I don't care much about that. But yeah, if you've done any of these landscaping things, you probably know what I'm talking about. I did a lot of saving. And of course, along with the saving, I did a lot of nope, don't like that, exit the game, come back in, you know. Let's just see if we can get this smoothed out. Just, you know, just enough to make it so that it's not quite as dramatic. I've already done a lot, believe it or not, I've done a lot of smoothing in this area here before. That's a little bit better. It doesn't need to be Rick and Morty universal level. I don't know if you've ever seen that episode. It's pretty hilarious. Is that Morty's Mind Benders, I think it was on, where Rick shows Morty true level. It's classic. This is a little bit much, but again, when I start working by this fencing and you start smoothing out a lot, this is when they start to come out of the ground and start to look a little bit goofy. And sometimes that's a pretty good dip there, though. Let's just see. I'm happy with where we're at. Let's save what we have there, just in case I screw this up beyond recognition. I'm certainly not past doing that. And kind of see if we can get... You can kind of see how it's... I feel like I'm just pushing out, you know... How far off the ground are we? Actually, we're still in there. They still look pretty good. That one might just be starting to come off the ground. I think I'm going to stop where I'm at, and we'll just deal with some... It would be nice, and I know what you're going to say, you know, you can add dirt, but the problem is when I get to it, that's where I start running into problems, and I need to practice some more on this level business here. That's where I start, when I start using that tool, I have made some serious ditches. Unintentionally, of course, but ditches nonetheless. Brad, you're standing right in the way of the smoother, Tell you what, if I'm looking at that right, one thing's for sure. There would be an awful lot of there would be an awful lot of water probably right down in this area. Like a big old puddle right down there. Yep, that's where it would settle. About right there, I bet. And all along here, probably. So I think that's going to look pretty good. Let's take an overview again. Whoops, Brad. Put your hatchet away. Put your hatchet away now. Yeah, I think you guys kind of get the idea of what we're going for here. Now, these sheep pens, I think each hold 200, I believe. And this cow thing holds... Boy, does the cow thing hold 200 as well? Yeah, so this holds 200, and each of those sheep pens hold 200. I think that's going to be pretty good. I think we're in pretty good shape for what I was going for, at least for now. I'll show you one other thing here. Might still make some adjustments, because I'm planning on actually maybe putting a little house down here, like a little wooden cottage or something down here by the lake would be really pretty. I don't know if we'd want it that close to the sheep. Maybe on the other side of the pond, more or less. It is. At least where I come from, this would definitely be a pond, not a lake. But I guess you could name it a lake if you want. I'm also thinking it would be nice, kind of looking for houses right now actually, to have a house on this property here in this area. I think that would be a nice area for a house right down in here, or maybe even over here more, just to look out over the lake. I suppose depending on where you're from too, this might even be like a fjord down through there. I know when I was in Norway. In fact, I forgot to do this. We're gonna stop time. When I was in Norway, where that boat's coming through right there, I think they more or less called most of those fjords, I think. But tomato, you know how it is. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Of course, I'm going to keep looking for new things to spruce up the map with. Of course, we're going to continue to build out our land and our farmland and stuff. We're not giving up on that by any means, but I do want to add some other things to Hinterland to spruce it up and just give it kind of give it a unique look. And like I said, it's not something I normally do a whole lot of, so I'm kind of geeked about it. Let's do one more thing here. Let's save the game, and I want to show you real quick. Don't know if you're super interested in this or not, but let's fast forward time to the night. Turn off my light, and you can kind of see how those lights are working. And these lights were a separate mod. I forget the mod is called Hanging Lights Pack or something like that. They worked out really well. They fit, and they were super easy to put on. Those wooden beams. And then you can kind of see how kind of lit that up a little bit. Kind of nice. Do our cow barn, our cow barn doesn't have any lights, and our sheep barn has no lights. So we might want to put in, we might want to consider putting in, of course I work so little at night, if I'm being honest with you. I probably won't see this often at all. But having a floodlight around here might not be too bad. I don't know how the animals would feel about having floodlights shining on them. I wonder if there's any mods that will add those red lights, you know, like you get from Giant's base game animal enclosures. The nighttime red look. Interesting. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. I just wanted to throw this out there, let you guys see what, what I was working on a little bit. And get you caught up there. Next time we get together here in Hinterland, probably Monday, we'll be back to doing our farming thing. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas, pass them along. I'll think about using those as well. And yes, I realize my lights on those poles are a little bit... I tried to get them as even as possible, but it's super hard to do with the Giant's placement tool. I think the one on the right might be a little higher than the one on the left, but you know what? That's probably pretty realistic if I hung them. So there's that. But thanks everyone. I appreciate you joining me here. Take care of yourselves. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you back here real soon. Bye for now. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.